It's another week and it's another midweek message. I'm coming to you from Java and Friends in East Greenville, one of my favorite places to come and hang out and breathe and think and work on stuff. It's just a nice space to be in. And I've been really wrestling with what to talk about because last week I went through COVID. You can hear my voice is still in there. And there's this residual effect that's been going on with the fogginess that I find interesting as it's a foggy day today. I also apologize because I have a slight cough. And as it's been foggy today and I'm drinking a London Fog, I started to reflect over January and some of the casework I've been working on, the issues that I've seen in my spaces as a pastor and as a community leader, as a friend, family member. And I wonder if sometimes in our state of fogginess in life, we don't reach out when we should be. And I say that because being sick, I had to rely on other people to handle situations in my life, handle my own life, right? Caretaker and so forth, and my wife and my kids and co-workers to handle situations and volunteers to pick up the slack at the bike shop. And this morning I was greeted as I went to breakfast with a mentor of mine by 5 individuals that were having 2 separate breakfasts. And I saw them in this space and I looked around the room and I noticed that these are men that in my life, when things get foggy, I have conversations with them. And I wonder sometimes if we are lacking the ability to talk about things in our lives before they become a big fire. I'm wondering if our culture does not make it conducive to talk about our things when they're small or they're just starting to crop up. And are we able to have the relationships to talk about those tough things? Do we have the capacity to listen, to engage, and to handle the tough talks? I've been noticing recently that the firefighter attitude of my life, that being one that runs towards fires versus away from them, creates a tendency for people to call me or to interact with me or to look for help in tough situations. Now, some would say that might be a pastor's job. Others would say, no, I can tell you this, it's been part of my life before being a pastor. I've always had this tendency to be on the fringe, to engage people on the fringe of society. I feel more comfortable on the fringe, actually. I feel like Jesus spent a lot of space and time on the fringe. He also worked with those that were in power and in authority in society. And I wonder, in this reflection today, and I'm giving you all this background to build up for a moment, because I really want you to reflect, if you can, a little bit on what drives you in life anymore. Because I'm noticing, like, the things that energize me and the things that I love to do, sometimes they get robbed from me because of the situations. Now, if you are one, and I want to take this on 2 different levels. The first level is me as a human being and how I interact, and the second level is me as a person from the outside, someone else's being interacting. And I want to separate that for a moment. So the first side is the inner person. In my life, and I'm not saying everybody has to do this, but I'm just letting you know, in my life, there's a spiritual director, there's a guide for me, a spiritual guide that I work with to help me through and to push into me and to build conversations and have relationships about my spiritual walk. I also see a therapist 2 times a month to handle the mental side of things, and they work hand in hand. I go to a doctor for my physicality issues, but I've also learned to take care of my body. I try to continually eat healthy, to keep myself lined up. I've lost 60 pounds. So I look at this mind, body, soul component internally, and I say, how am I taking care of my mind, my body, and my soul? I think for many people, taking care of their soul is going to church or listening to good messages, but a lot of times we are not engaging and being open in safe spaces to talk about my spiritual walk and helping me wrestle and grow to become the fullness of who I could be. And I think that's the key here, is not settling for a half person, but the full self, our mind, body, and our soul. How do we have a holistic care piece to ourselves? Now, see, this is all stemming out of this one verse that always bothers me. And it's love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And see that as yourself, because I've talked about this many times, and I keep going back to it because I feel like we as a church body, not just at LLMC, but in general, and even myself and others that I see, because I keep seeing these explosions happening in people's lives, where if they would have been taking care of their mind, their body, and their soul, we would have a healthier relationship going on. We look out through our culture right now, and we see that the physicality of us, with people that are getting COVID, your physical goes down, and then your mental and your soul also goes down, and you see these pressures hit across the board. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I am going deeper here and saying that I think most people on average are not tending to their mind, their body, and their soul. I think they tend to them when they're hurt and when they're in pain and when they have an ache, but they're not tending to them on a regular basis to keep improving. A friend of mine recently told me, I'm out of shape, I need to ride my bike better. He got out of shape because he stopped riding the bike. I can talk to physical, I can talk to mental, and I can talk to spiritual. I can sit here and tell you all these things that you can do or not do, but I want you to ask a really hard question of yourself. Are you tending to them, or are you waiting for them to break down? Because see, when they break down, now all of a sudden we have an emergency situation and we've got to handle things. But when we maintain things and keep them running well, things are better. It's just like a car, right? If you don't keep it oil in the engine and you maintain that proper level, you maintain the gas levels, you maintain the window washer fluids, everything works. So that's the first piece, tending to ourselves. Now I want to go back to the firefighter analogy for a moment, because if a firefighter is not tending to their heart, soul, and mind, they will not be able to go into a blaze and rescue someone or put out a fire or stop the damages going on. I believe that most people are wrestling with the capacity to be able to love others as they love themselves because they're not equipped. I think most people, and you answer this for yourself, do not actually know how to talk to someone else about their spiritual walk and where they're at and what they're wrestling with until it becomes desperation. So I think there's a lack of equipping. I think people need to learn this. I think people need to understand this. I think it's important for people to be able to talk about their mental health and be open about it. I think it's important for all that stuff across the board. With that too, I also wonder if there needs to be space and invitation for that. Because see, when you know and are equipped, then you're compelled to do something. If you're trained to do CPR and someone is dying in front of you, you will do CPR. If you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver and you see someone choking, you will be compelled to do that. But if you don't know CPR, you are not going to want to step in and engage that. So here's your invitation. I'm making a very large invitation here. And I know that my invitation that I'm about to make, probably most of you won't take me up on it because it's too scary. But if you are watching this right now and you've got to this 9 minutes and 50-second mark on this video clip, I'm giving you an invitation to walk with you personally. If you would like to live a fuller, greater life, I am willing to spend more time with you and to engage that, whether it's over video calls, whether it's over email, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's over coffee, whether it's over a bike ride, a walk, whatever is comfortable for you. But I am willing to engage you if you want to make your life better, because as I continue to improve my life, as I continue to work at things and to engage things, I'm willing to do that with you too, because I'm tired of dealing with the fires, and I'd like to work on fire prevention and making more firefighters. It's going to be real with you. I think the issues that we see today in our society is because we are attacking the fires and not getting the fire extinguishers in places. We're not putting our fire alarms in place. We're not teaching people how to cook properly, right? I mean, we can come up with all the analogies, but at the end of the day, we need to start doing preventative maintenance and working on our insides on a regular basis. And we need to be mindful of the people around us so that we're caring for them too. So I think that's the other issue, is I think because we don't feel secure enough or compelled enough to care for others, then it gets left to certain people to handle and someone else deals with it instead of us. I believe that the church is being called over the next years, not just LOMC, the church in general, to deal with the growing issues of mental, physical, and spiritual health in our culture. There is no one that's ringing this gong loud enough, and our culture is going to continue to tell people how they should live, instead of understanding the way Jesus lived is the best way to live. So on that note, as an imperfect man, that has a lot of flaws and a lot of mistakes in his life, I'm willing to walk with you. Not because I got it all together, but because I think you know, at the end of the day, you need somebody too. And maybe I'm not the guy, and that's fine. I can point you in the right direction. Or maybe there's someone that you know to call, and you should be calling them. But anyway, all my point is this. Start getting together with people. If COVID keeps you distant, get on a video call. But we need to stop isolating until we explode. Self-isolation is the worst way. And I'm kind of just letting you all know, I'm kind of tired of people self-isolating. Kind of people pulling away and hiding in their shells and thinking that's healthy. So anyway, here it is. I hope this is helpful. I hope this is encouraging. But I'm just letting you know, like right now is the time for us to rise up as the body of Christ. It's not a time to retreat. It's a time to press forward. And wherever spaces that you're wrestling with, it's time to get right with them and to move forward. God bless. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. And I hope that you find in your spaces today that God is present. Even though you might wrestle with him, or you might be frustrated with him, or maybe you're elated with joy with him every day. But I hope that you see something in your day-to-day that reminds you about the beauty of the day.